Hello everyone, this is Easy Natural English with Liam, and today I want to talk to you a bit about whether or not English is difficult, because I've been an English teacher for a long time, and many students say to me that English is difficult, and they say it like other languages are maybe easy or not so difficult. So the reason I say this is because I live in Japan. I'm studying Japanese, and some people when I say I'm studying Japanese, some people say, "Wow, that must be difficult." But then some people, when I say it's difficult to study Japanese, they seem surprised. This is usually Japanese people I say it to. Sometimes they say, "Oh, is Japanese difficult?" And of course it is. So with the question, is English difficult? I think a better question is learning a language difficult? And I think that it is difficult, but maybe it's also not difficult. So what do I mean? I mean, learning a language takes a long time, but it isn't necessarily difficult. Like many things that we learn, the longer we spend on it, the better we get. So, of course, it seems very difficult at the beginning. And I understand, I studied French for a long time. Now I've been studying Japanese for a long time. Spent a long time learning other different languages too. And I know that at the beginning, there's kind of a learning curve. At the beginning, you start learning things and you feel like, wow, I'm learning really quickly. And then you feel like that's slowing down. But it's just because, on the first day, if you don't know anything, then you have improved your knowledge, your skill by 100%. On the first day. So, day 1, day 2, day 3, it can feel like you're learning quickly, but it's usually also because you don't know how much you don't know. So as you learn more, you realize that you still have a lot to learn. So yes, learning languages takes a long time, but is English particularly difficult? I don't think so. I mean, I'm a native speaker, so of course English is easy for me. But if you look at different languages, usually if a language is further away from your language in terms of relation, then it will probably be more difficult. So I told you I was studying French for a long time. I also studied Spanish for a while. And those languages have much more relation to English. They all have a Latin origin, but they're still quite different. In terms of grammar, English was built on some other languages, so the grammar is quite difficult. So learning French was still very difficult, and trying to learn Spanish, I didn't get very far. Learning Spanish was also very difficult. And then the letters were the same. They all use the Roman alphabet, so that made it a bit easier. Now I'm studying Japanese. I have to learn a different writing system. I have to learn a different grammar, a very different grammar system, and also just a very different way of saying things. So if your language, your mother tongue, your first language, has no relation to English, then it's going to be a bit more difficult to learn, but it shouldn't be something that stops you, because sometimes I think students sort of just want to give up. They start to feel like, this is difficult for me. Maybe it's easy for everybody else and it's very difficult for me. But yeah, I think languages are, like I said, to some level, they are difficult for all of us. But really, it's just a question of time. Because if you can speak your first language, then there is nothing wrong with your brain. Your brain can learn a language because, for example, if you're a French person and you can speak French, then there is nothing wrong with your brain. you can learn a language. So it means you can also learn a second language. So the important thing is to find a method that is enjoyable, because learning a language takes a long time. And if you're doing something that's boring, then you won't be able to do it long enough. Many people say that to reach mastery in a language, or even mastery in anything, according to research, it takes about 10,000 hours. And that's a long time. If you spend 9 hours a day studying something, it will take you 3 years to reach 10,000 hours. Most of us cannot study for 9 hours a day. If you can study for 6 hours a day, that means you can reach 10,000 hours in 5 years, sorry. But, that's still probably not going to be the same as a native speaker. So it just takes a long time to study languages, or to study anything. We all know that learning to play instruments takes a long time. But sometimes I hear from students like, I've been studying English for 4 or 5 years and I'm still not perfect. But if somebody played guitar or piano for 4 or 5 years, would you expect them to be perfect? Or even, a sport, if they were playing football for 4 or 5 years, would you expect them to be professional? Probably not. It takes a long time to learn anything. So yeah, the point, my message is, English is not particularly difficult. It's just a case of taking a lot of time. So don't feel like it's impossible. There are lots of people out there who have reached a very high level in a second language, or even a third or fourth language. And it's not because they're super intelligent. It's because they just spent more time studying. And as I always say, listening is really, really important. You learned your first language through lots and lots of listening, and you can learn English through lots and lots of listening too. And the good thing about listening is you can do it when you're doing other things. Because if you're trying to aim for this 9 hours a day studying, or 6 hours a day studying, or even 1 hour every day studying, then listening is an easy way to do that. You can listen when you're cooking and cleaning and walking and exercising, doing your laundry, maybe even working if you have a computer job that doesn't take much of your brain power. If it's like, for example, entering data into a spreadsheet or something, maybe you can listen to English while you do that. So listening is a good way to rack up your hours, or to build up your hours in studying. But as I said, if your language is closely related to English, so if you speak like a Western European language, so it could be Spanish, French, Italian, Norwegian, Dutch, German. If you speak one of these languages, it's going to be a little bit easier than if you're someone who speaks like an African language or an Asian language, but it's still going to have a lot of challenges, and really it's difficult for everybody. I think, like I said earlier, the important thing is, do you enjoy it? Do you have motivation? Because, I studied French for a long time, which is quite close to English. But I really enjoyed studying, but not as much as I enjoy studying Japanese, and not as motivated as I am studying Japanese. So I feel like I'm starting to get to a higher level in Japanese than I am in French. So even though Japanese is very different from English, the important thing is sort of how motivated you are and how much you enjoy it. And it just gets easier every day. And something that's really important to do to help you stay motivated is to, for example, watch a movie or read a book or have a conversation with someone about a particular topic. And then in 2, 3, 4 months, after you've been studying much more, go back and watch the same movie or read the same book or talk about the same topic again, and see how much easier it is for you. Because if you have been studying a lot, then I promise you, you will be surprised. You will, for example, if it's a movie, Maybe the first time you'll find it hard to follow, but if you keep studying every day, and then 3-4 months you watch it again, you'll be like, wow, my English has got much better. And this will really help to keep you motivated because, learning a language is a really long journey. Perhaps, you can never finish. You can do this your whole life. So it's very important to find ways to stay motivated and find ways that you enjoy studying. And the really good thing about learning languages is you can do anything you want. Earlier we're talking about playing an instrument. If you want to learn to play the guitar, you have to just play the guitar. There's not anything else you can do. But if you want to learn English, then you can watch movies in English. You can read books in English, about any topic. You can play video games in English. You can talk to friends in English. You can watch YouTube in English. Anything that you like to do in your language, you can do the same thing, but in English. That's what I do with Japanese. Today I've been reading a book in Japanese, which is an interesting book. And, I forget that I'm studying Japanese. I'm just enjoying the book. Recently I've been watching lots of cooking shows in Japanese. Also, I'm very interested in coffee. So recently I've been watching a lot of Japanese YouTube channels where they're talking about coffee, how to make coffee, how to roast coffee. And, it doesn't feel like study because I just enjoy those topics. And you can just enjoy anything you like, but you can just enjoy it in English. So your English level will get better. It's just a matter of time. So just keep listening, keep reading, keep speaking, keep checking vocabulary, checking grammar. Just keep going. The most important thing, don't think that there is anything wrong with you. If you feel like, I'm not getting better, I'm stupid, or I'm not good at languages, that feeling, that attitude will really hold you back. And it's not true. I'm sure there is nothing wrong with your brain. You can do it just like anybody else. Don't compare yourself to others. Just do it your way and continue. And really don't compare yourself to others because as a language learner, it's actually very hard to tell anyway who is good and who is not good. It's easy to pretend that you're good. I see a lot of people who seem like they have a high level of English, but when I really listen to them, I realize that they're just pretending to understand. They're just, pretend like using some words that make them sound a bit better, but they might not even be that good. So don't compare yourself to others. Do it for yourself. And I'm sure you will reach a high level of English soon. So anyway, thank you all very much for listening today. I kind of went on a few tangents. I went around a few topics, but I hope in some way I could help to encourage you. I won't lie to you. I won't say that learning English is easy because it's not, but I don't think it's really difficult either. It just takes a bit of time. So keep it up. If it's your first time watching me on YouTube, then don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. If you're listening to the podcast, then please follow. And if you're on Apple Podcasts and some other apps, you can review, so please do that. Everybody share with your friends. Check the links to take a lesson with me or to support me on Patreon or on Buy Me a Coffee. And I will see you all back here next time.